Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. More specifically, another wrestling pay-per-view review. And of course, because we're continuing our look at the Alliance, and it's now time for the next pay-per-view event. And the Terminator might not be in attendance for this event, but it is still Judgment Day. Hey, I'm talking about Judgment Day 2001. And so, of course, as always, I'm not a professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I would say I had a pretty decent time with this event, and we're still not quite fully in the trenches of the invasion just yet. We will be coming up soon, but more on that at another time. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, of course, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already have an idea of how this works. But if you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about this pay-per-view event. We're going to go match by match. So, of course, this is, I guess, the next pay-per-view proper, considering Insurrection, because it's kind of like more of a house show kind of thing. It's kind of non-canon. Hell, they don't even bring up Insurrection at all in terms of the canon and what went down there. So, Insurrection is pretty is essentially fully in a way non-canon. WWF pretty much treats Insurrection here the way the MCU treats the first Incredible Hulk movie. Not like the first, but the 2007 one, or 2008 Incredible Hulk movie. To be more specific. And on a side note, now that I brought that up, why has Hulk still not had a solo movie in the MCU yet? That's insane. You couldn't even give one to Smart Hulk. Hulk, that's pretty weird to think about. But nevertheless, let's get into the pay-per-view proper. Starting with the first match. We had two matches on Sunday Night Heat, but of course that wasn't part of the broadcast. So I did not end up watching those. But in case you're curious, Raven defeated Val Venus, and the Holly Cousins Crash and Hardcore defeated Kai and Tai, that being Funaki and Taka Michinoku. I forgot Kai and Tai was still around even this late, as a team and everything, this late into WWF. Have I didn't really watch at the time. I might learn about who Kai and Tai was later on, but yeah, they were still around. Interesting to see. But getting into the first match proper, or William Regal, the physical commissioner, battles Rikishi. Of course, Rikishi, similar to Chris Jericho, has besmirched the Great Commissioner, and so William Regal is not going to take that lying down, and so he is battling Rikishi here, and William Regal who does not want to be besmirched and will not be besmirched by a stink face. He reiterates he does not want to receive a stink face. He will not receive the stink face. Surely you know where this is going. Sure enough, within like the first couple minutes, they do fight around it kind of a bit. But eventually William Regal does get the stink face, and he almost gags. He almost pukes on the outside after receiving said stink face. But otherwise, Regal does end up getting the win over Rikishi. In the match, pretty short. Not a whole lot of meat on the bone. Bone's about almost 4 minutes. It's so not really a long, in-depth match. I guess just kind of a way to really prime the audience, especially with quite a few more matches to go, including the tag team turmoil, which will be later on, and then the 2 out of 3 falls, which is next. Yeah, so I imagine, and of all the matches, this one was the shortest, and I imagine probably just kind of a way to wake the crowd up and everything. But Yeah, otherwise just kind of okay. Hey, and really the whole story was the aforementioned stink face and everything. But yeah, nevertheless, Regal gets the win there. But next up in 2 out of 3 falls action, for Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medal, Kurt Angle battles Chris Benoit. So, a couple things. First of all, how we got here. These two have been feuding for quite a bit. They had the Ultimate Submission match at at Backlash. They had the 2 out of 3 Falls match Insurrection, which I do have to make a quick correction to. I said in my Insurrection that Benoit dropped the medals off and Kurt Angle grabbed them. He did not. That was not the case. I misremembered it. I do apologize. But instead, Benoit took the medals that were in his pants and put them on his neck. And sure enough, because Insurrection is non-canon, we do see eventually on I believe Raw, if not SmackDown, that Benoit did indeed still have the medals. He revealed indeed where the medals were. I guess if you missed Insurrection eh, or actually yeah, it uh, was on SmackDown where or it was revealed, but 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 so I guess if you miss Insurrection, now you know where the medals are being kept. So now the medals are on the line, and it's 2 out of 3 falls. It's kind of similar to what would become like the 3 stages of hell match, where the first fall is just a regular, or actually the first fall is pinfalls only. The second fall is submissions only, and the third fall, should it come to that, is the ladder match where the gold medals will be hung above the ring. So Benoit hits the first fall. He pins Kurt Angle. I believe off the diving headbutt. Or actually, no, it was off the angle slam. I forgot. Benoit actually nailed Angle with the angle slam, and pretty much hit him with his own move in order to get the first fall. And then the second fall was the submissions part of it. And Angle eventually he nails Angle slam and then forces Benoit to submit with the ankle lock, and then and so it now comes to the third fall. Also, Benoit, unlike Insurrection, was not 2-0 against Kurt Angle. This time, Angle also got a fall. But the last one, the ladder match, sure enough, they're suspended above the ring, and and those two battle for a little bit. It over climbing the ladder and stuff like that, and then Benoit eventually locks in the crippler crossface, causing him to pass out. But sure enough, Edge and Christian, who we saw them interact with Kurt Angle earlier on in the show. Of course, this was part of the Team ECK days where Angle and Edge and Christian had kind of an alliance going on alliances, I guess, a popular thing back then, but they show up and they take out Benoit and allow Kurt Angle to come up and retrieve his Olympic gold medal. And the next night he declared that he said if he won the match he would do a recreation of his a gold medal ceremony he from the Olympics. So sure enough we will see that and we'll see where that leads. But otherwise this match was pretty fun. Don't know if I liked it. Mm, I think in terms of the hierarchy of where I put the matches is I think in this one I would put in the middle. Well, this match here, like, hey, Angle and Benoit definitely are able to make magic against each other and are able to put on a very fantastic match. Edge and all 3 matches were good, but this one I would kind of put in the middle. The latter, I do like how it wasn't. They went more like the Sean Razor approach to the ladders, where they didn't have like a half dozen ladders. Excuse me, all around. It was crazy amount of ladder spots. It was definitely the ladder was more so conscious extension, and they also did a lot of the work themselves without fully relying on the ladders. We've seen plenty of examples of both within ladder matches. Is which one do I prefer? I think depending on, I think either one usually works really well, depending on how the wrestlers do. So this one I'll put in the middle. I guess the weakest technically would probably be the insurrection one, but that one's still fairly good. And then the best, definitely the ultimate submission match. So otherwise, Angle and Benoit definitely out here making magic with each other. Unfortunately, this would be the last match they would have, at least for the time being, and we'll learn more about that here, but in this review, or actually, I think I'll. Oh no, I kind of have to talk about it here. Here, but yeah. So, very, very good action and everything between the two. Still a very, very solid match. I just didn't love it as much as, say, the Ultimate Submission match from Backlash, but still really, really good. But next up, though, we have sorry, I have to scroll back down. We have the triple threat hardcore match for the hardcore championship, as Rhino defends against both Big Show and Test. Rhino, of course, is the hardcore champion. Big Show and Test have been feuding for quite a bit, especially with Test being a quote unquote WCW superstar, aligning himself with Shane McMahon, and Big Show kind of being a mercenary of sorts for Vince, and so these two have been really going after each other. If you remember from Insurrection, Big Show kind of called Test out. Even though Test, they were supposed to have the match, but Test injured his ribs. Oh, uh, so because of that, Big Show called him a coward and everything. So these two had been kind of going back and forth quite a bit, but now they find themselves in this triple threat match for the hardcore championship, and of course Rhino, the man Hanby, he's is the champion. This one was decent little bit of fun. And of course, because it's a hardcore match, and because it's 2001, and plenty of weapons, and some kind of cool, fun spots, especially when they make their way to the back. Heck, uh, but eventually Rhino does pick up the win in this match. Actually, definitely he was. It definitely we do see quite a bit of Big Show versus Test in this match, and then Rhino comes in when necessary. But otherwise, still pretty fun. It was a hardcore match for the time, so you kind of knew what to expect. But yeah, pretty decent there. Aaron Rhino retains, of course. Next up for the WWF Women's Championship, China defends against Lita. So, China won the women's championship back at WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. So China won the women's championship, and eventually complained that there was a lack of competition. She wanted somebody to step up, and sure enough, Lita, in fact, did step up to try to take the championship from China. Before going out there for the match, Lita and the Hardys, who she's with, and of course she was dating Matt at the time, but they are approached by Dominic Mysterio, I mean Eddie Guerrero, and he offers to give Lita advice on China, because of course, China and Eddie were a thing. Of course, the Latino heat and everything. But Lita doesn't want it. Says she's got this, and so Eddie's like, all right, hey, now we go to the match there. This match just kind of okay. Hey, nothing super crazy. Lita does look really good against China, and really looks very credible, which is good to see. But ultimately, China does pick up the win. Eddie does come out on the ramp to watch the match during the match, and just kind of stands there. So it does look a little bit awkward. It seemed like it would be teasing to something bigger. Whether or not that happened, I'll have to look and see, but eventually, China and Lita do show respect to each other or for the match. match. Unfortunately, the match was kind of on the shorter end. It was only it was only 6.5 minutes, but I think they still did relatively well in the time allotted, I would say. But next up is a chain match for the Intercontinental Championship, perhaps a precursor to Kane's days as Jacob Goodnight. But Kane seeks to take the Intercontinental Championship back from Triple H. So, if you remember, Triple H took the Intercontinental Championship from Kane, and then later on took the tag titles from the Brothers of Destruction, and did Austin and Triple H, aka the two-man power trip. Yep, and so, now how them holding all the gold, and thus by Backlash standards, all the power. But now Kane, I guess, wants to take some of that power back by attempting to to get the Intercontinental Championship back from Triple H in a chain match, which I believe was pitched in a storyline by Triple H to have this chain match. Let me make sure I have that correct. I don't see it here. Here, here, here. Okay. Hey, uh, one main event, just reading here and make sure I have the timeline of everything correct. Yep. So Triple H was the one who challenged Kane to the chain match. As kind of the fact that Kane and Chain are ending the same is kind of throwing me off a little bit, but maybe that's just an indicator of how my brain works. But this match not too bad. Had kind of some good brutality. Now the chain match kind of works similar to like the strap match where they're both bound by the chain, and so we see some moments there. Or what it's the chain there and it being tethered to each other, and actually the bell rings even before they're fully tethered to each other, but they eventually are tethered to each other. Austin does show up, even though he has his match in the main event against the Undertaker. Austin shows up up, uh, up and distracts, which allows Triple H to nail the low blow on Kane. But then Austin goes to swing the chair on Kane, but oops, he accidentally nails Triple H, and so that allows Kane to pick up the win and thus regain the Intercontinental Championship. So the two-man power trip, which which I don't recall if they're ever referred to, at least on these pay-per-views, as officially two-man power trip. Even when they're introduced as like a tag team, first of all, they make their entrances separate from each other, but I don't think they're ever referred to as the two-man power trip. I think they were referred to as the power trip on a couple occasions, but I don't think they were ever directly, at least from what I've seen, directly referred to as the two-man power trip. But nevertheless, the two-man power trip, unfortunately, has a bit of a mishap, and there's unfortunately going to be an even bigger mishap with Triple H later on. But nevertheless, so Austin accidentally cost Triple H the championship, and afterwards, Triple H is fuming. He is hopping mad at Austin for accidentally costing him the championship. Understandable, he got dinked with a chair, but Vince tries to rein them back in and tries to get them to refocus and not quite turn each other, because the WWF Championship is still on the line. And as Austin's going to battle The Undertaker. But first, in the semi-main event, is the Tag Team Turmoil match to determine who will be the number one contenders for the WWF Tag Team Championships, which are currently held by the aforementioned two-man power trip. So the first two teams we have are the APA and Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn, aka what's left of the Radicals. But the APA eventually do take them out, and next up is the Dudley Boys, who do my goodness, I cannot speak today. Hey, but the Dudley Boys are next. They battle the APA, but they are put away as well. And next up is X Factor, who managed to take out the APA and advance. And one of my favorite parts is when because the commentary team once again is Jim Ross and Paul Heyman, and Jim Ross. Of course, as the face commentator, complains about how Albert could be a negative influence on the match, and Paul Heyman tries to rebut those claims, saying that Albert's just there. He's not doing anything, he's not interfering, just for Albert to immediately interfere and essentially cost APA almost immediately directly afterwards, pretty much just proving JR's point, which I thought was pretty funny. But then the X Factor go on a little bit of a mini run. They take out the APA, then they take out the Hardy Boys. But then next up is Chris Jericho, who we've seen throughout the night. Chris Jericho said he has a mystery partner. He will reveal who the mystery partner is. As everybody wants to know, especially Edge and Christian. But Chris Jericho saying he's not revealing his mystery partner, but eventually he does, and it's Chris Benoit. Of course, Edge and Christian are also part of the tag team turmoil. Oh, it's worth mentioning. But so Chris Jericho's mystery tag team partner turns out to be Chris Benoit. So that means one of two things: either A, Chris Benoit, in terms of kayfabe, that means Chris Benoit was always going to be Chris Jericho's tag team partner, and it just happened to also work out because as Edge and Christian cost Benoit his match against Angle, now Benoit also has a problem with Edge and Christian, or Jericho was bluffing the whole time and just managed to find Chris Benoit and say, "Hey, do you want to team with me?" Those are kind of my two headcanon theories. But they do put over how Benoit and Jericho did battle it out at one point and were enemies at one point, but now they are friends, and now showing everybody that they've overcome their differences. And sure enough, they eliminate X Factor from the match, and of course, last team they're facing is Edge and Christian, and eventually they managed to put away Edge and Christian. Oh, so it'll be Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit battling the two-man power trip for the tag team championships, which I will get to after the main event, and I'll talk about what goes down with that in the main event. In terms of the turmoil match itself, it was kind of okay. Yeah, I know tag team turmoils in pro wrestling, because of course, and more specifically in the WWF, because it's not the first time they've done it. It certainly isn't the last. Tag team turmoils can be kind of tricky, but I think this one they did relatively well with it. No team really overstayed their welcome too much. But then seeing Jericho and Benoit as second to last team, and then having the last team be Edge and Christian so that they get their revenge over Edge and Christian. You could swap the order of Jericho and Benoit, have them be the last team, and then Edge and Christian and be the second to last team, and then have it that way. If you wanted, but I guess it does play into kind of the craftiness of Edge and Christian, the fact that they're the last ones in there for the freshest by extension, and Benoit technically the least fresh because he already had a match earlier in the night. But I think bring it down to those two teams kind of tell that story there. I think also worked well in terms of the match. So so they were able to pull that off. But next up in the main event, and no holds barred for the WWF Championship, Stone Cold Steve Austin defends against The Undertaker. These two and their two respective sides, the Power Trip versus the Brothers of Destruction, have been going at it for a while. Of course, first Austin and Triple H took the titles from Kane and The Undertaker back at Backlash. They had the handicap at Insurrection between the Power Trip and just The Undertaker, and of course Kane beat Triple H for the Intercontinental title earlier in the night. What will happen when They go 1-on-1 in this match. That being Austin and Triple H. This match, not too bad. Had And this technically, he I guess on technicality, this is the third time we're seeing it in terms of these like pay-per-view reviews, but I think they did relatively well. Hell, they had the different weapon spots, of course. First, Undertaker does put Austin through the announce table. Cool. Or sorry, they're going back and forth. Austin hits Undertaker with a chair. And sure enough, Triple H does show up, does attempt to help Austin. So I guess Vince McMahon did successfully talk his son-in-law into helping out Austin, at least in terms of kayfabe. Did successfully talk Triple H into helping out Austin, but he is taken out. But eventually he Triple H does nail Undertaker with the sledgehammer, or as he's going for the last ride on Austin, so it allows Austin to pick up the win over the Undertaker. So the 2-man power trip does I guess end the night successfully with Austin still the WWF champion. So I guess 1 out of 2 ain't bad, but unfortunately, for Triple H, and I guess for the 2-man power trip, after this, they would have their tag title match with Jericho and Benoit, who won the Turmoil. Well, and that was the next night on Raw, and that was the match where Triple H tore his quad. So Triple H ended up being out pretty much for the rest of 2001, missed the whole Goldeng invasion, and was gone for the rest of the year. Benoit would also miss the invasion, but that's for another time. I'm but man, that definitely sucks. But Jericho and Benoit did win the tag titles. But uh, uh, eventually Jericho and Benoit would drop him to with the Dudley Boys after Austin interfered, thus leading to the main event at King of the Ring 2001 on Austin Jericho and Benoit in triple threat action. But that is for the next pay-per-view review. As for this one, in terms of the strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest, I might have to go with either. Hmm, I might have to go with the 2 out of 3 falls. That one was still really, really great. Again, didn't love it as much as their backlash encounter, that being Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, but it was still really, really solid. The main event was also decently solid as well. In terms of the weakest match, if you want to call it that, the opener between William Regal and Rikishi, only because it was so short. But that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on Judgment Day 2001 and your thoughts on my review. Judgment Day 2001. Did you like the show? Did you like my review of the show? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later with King of the Ring 2001. Peace.